It works?
It does work.
Yeah, put it on.
You have news?
Good news. Watch.
You ready?
Amazing. You did it.
Yeah.
Where's yours? You'll need a dawn shield too.
Halleck's not taking his javelin into the storm with you.
No?
Nope. The Strider withstood the storm last time. I will make sure she does it again.
Hey, what's gonna happen when I hear the anthem? What if I lose myself?
You won't. Strong alone, stronger together, right?
Ah, who told you that? Come on, there's no time to waste. The Dominion's already on the march.
Perfect. The Monitor probably thinks he's won. He won't even see us coming.
Come on, Freelancer. We got a new legend to write.
Ay, ay, ay. It's like being thrown down the stairs in a barrel. Tough it out a little longer. Okay. It's as far as I can take us before the Strider gets ripped to shreds.
Faye?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Get ready.
It wasn't this bad before.
No, it wasn't. Could be the heart of Razor's growing. Could be the Monitor messing with the cenotaph. Whoa. Winds are crazy. Watch the rip stream out there. You already met the wildlife. Watch for shadows. That's how you know they're diving at you.
Got it.
The updraft from the lava will mess with your thrusters. Just push through as fast as you can.
I'm picking up Striders. Tassin Sentinels, I think. They're hours away. It's just us and the Dominion now.
Good. It's a freelancer job. Always has been.
Ready, Javelin 1?
Ready when you are.
We've got your back. You go there and you kick some ass.
Check in.
I can't focus. I'm with you, but it's hard to think.
Just hang in there, Faye.
Don't worry about us. Faye's got us patched to Dominion comms. I've got an eye on the weather. Anything's coming, we'll know. Just focus on the mission.
We're really back. I can't believe I'm seeing this again.
You got this. Head for the city rooms up the hill.
They're dug in.
You're entrenched to hold back Tassin Sentinels. You've seen more than this.
Freelancer. Still alive, huh? I was afraid you weren't coming.
Yeah, I'll bet the Latwood audience was just killing you.
Something like that. Let's see if you can meet me in the cenotaph. I know you'll appreciate what I'm about to do.
Well, they know we're here. This place brings back memories. Good times.
Yeah, but you can do this. Hang in there.
familiar? It's strange watching this happen a second time.
Hey, this time you know how to take one of these monsters down. Time for some payback, yeah! I can't tell you how good it was to watch that thing die.
Keep going. There's more coming in ahead of you.
We're farther into the heart of rage than any freelancer's ever been. Faye, you alright? Alan, can you hear me? Is Faye?
What's the matter? Lost your sight of it? Minds just can't handle the anthem, can they? You tried so hard to.
Don't worry, we have a monster audience. I'll be seeing you soon.
Looking forward to it.
They've got a grounder. Have to destroy it to get up the cliff.
I'm here. I'm still with you.
Good to hear your voice again. But maybe fall back, get out of the storm.
No. I won't leave you to do this alone. Get close to the grounder. I can shut it down. Down.
You're the best, Faye.
The storm's getting worse by the second. You gotta hurry.
How touching. Your little friends are back. I'm getting all misty-eyed.
I'll give you something to cry about. Is that a relic?
The Dominion messed with something they couldn't control and it bit them in the ass. Difficult. You're gonna have to silence it to get through to the Cenotaph.
Echoes. You'll need
Don't worry, Faye. I'm on it.
incoming.
They're sending bullets your way. thing down. We're calling in air support. Watch your back. The door's still shut. Why is the door shut?
Furies! Furies! Are the Guardians! Holding the door!
They just don't give up, do they?
There's nothing between you and the cenotaph.
Okay, I'm in the eye of the storm. Owen was right. The monitor has a machine connected to the cenotaph.
Hey, I can communicate with the monitor. His mind is open to me.
Learn whatever you can. I've never seen anything like this. It's blocking my access to the relic inside.
The anthem. It's calling me.
Come on, Faye, I need you. This is the heart of rage. I need my cipher. Faye? You may have beat me here, but I am silencing the cenotaph. Wait, he's not here. The monitor's dead.
Not dead. Transcendent. One with the anthem. I should have been a god. I can still remake the world in fire.
Destroy those things before they explode. Hurry!
Everything will burn. I'm not finished.
What happened?
He's part of the cenotaph now. It's activated him elsewhere. Hurry!
Still here. Good. You can witness the dawning of a new world.
Is he changing the heart of rage?
The storm, cenotaph, and monitor are all linked now.
Oh, my shield's less through this acid.
Watch your step, freelancer. I'll wipe this world clean and start over.
Its power is out of control.
That sounds bad.
The storm is growing. Hurry.
Sensors are going haywire.
He's electrifying the ground. Watch out!
I'll take you down with me.
Hey! What are you doing here? Are you alright? Did you see that? Faye was connected to the monitor. Cipher to cipher. She knows what to do. How's she doing? I don't know. Not great!
I'm doing better than you.
Helen! Never mind that.
The anthem was interfering. I couldn't reach you. I have to get to that machine.
I got you, Faye.
No time to lose. I can hear the anthem.
What do we do?
Dominion seals. To get you to the cenotaph, I need to get closer to the anthem, like the monitor did.
Well, you can. You got this. Faye! Let go! Come back!
It's beautiful.
Faye! You okay?
I heard it. I heard it and I let it go.
Faye, we did it. We did it. Easy, easy. So what's next?
Nothing. You said one job.
No, I didn't.
You did. I was there. You were very clear.
I mean, maybe I want to renegotiate. But more importantly, who's gonna fix my Strider?
Our Strider. I think that's what he meant.
Doubt it.
Well, I'll tell you what. You help me fix it. I will talk.
Hey.
Hey, freelancer.
Yarrow?
So what's the word on the Dominion?
Though the Monitor is dead, many still fight on. Talk to you later. Hear me?
I hear you.
Bastards are probably here to stay.
You came through. Fine work.
Of course we did.
Never a doubt.
Thank you.
Time for celebration. Whew. Let's all have a drink.
As long as we don't talk about work.
What, me? Okay.
I just need a moment.
Can I talk about my Strider? I have plans.
Just give me 5 minutes to relax with no Strider, no anthem, no relics, no contracts.
There's something you need to see. I want you to meet Grandmaster Adams.
You entered Freemark. You silenced the cenotaph.
Yes, with help.
Right on. Strong alone, stronger together. Hey, let me show you something. We found this just inside the eastern border. Killed 2 of our team before we were able to put it down. And I mapped the region on it.
Urgoth. You've heard of them.
From stories, paintings, but they're long gone from Bastion.
Oh, this could either be a single scout or the beginning of something much, much bigger.
Corvus is worried that the death of the Monitor, while vital, has left us vulnerable in places we never even considered.
And we're reaching out to you because, by all accounts, you're something special. But can you keep quiet about this? We don't want to freak people out.
Sure.
Good.
We'll be in touch.
So, you're the one after all. I thought it might be you. The Grandmaster talked to you?
I talked to him, yeah. What's this about?
You've been making waves. Opening the gates of the Fortress of Dawn? Not bad. But reaching the inner sanctum? All kinds of wheels started turning in Antium when you did that.
What do you mean? Why would anybody in Antium care about me?
I mean that wheels literally started turning inside the palace. Ardenvasa built some device to tell him if a worthy lancer appeared. I hear it told half the city.
That's huge and unexpected.
A lot of eyes are watching you now, wondering what you'll do next.
Yes, well, we're not the only ones.
I can help you with that. I guess it's time to properly introduce myself. I'm the lawkeeper and storyteller for the Legion of Dawn.
The Legion is gone. It broke apart centuries ago.
The Lancers left the path, it's true. But there have always been a few souls tasked with keeping the Legion alive. Ardenvasa left the wheels ready to turn for a reason. The path of the Legionnaire has been waiting, like the doors at the Fortress of Dawn, for a worthy Lancer.
This sounds like you're about to give me a contract. Or several.
Not a contract, not a job. A challenge of a sort. You know the stories of General Tarsus. Do you know the tales of her most trusted counsel?
I've heard their names. Children's stories, but I don't think that's what you're asking.
You should know whose footsteps you're following. At the height of the dawn, countless lancers flocked to the banner of General Tarsus. All who had the heart to fight were given a place. But a few were more than just lancers. These were the boon companions of Tarsus, walking the path as she did. The Legionnaires.
In the trials, Arden Vasa said something about walking the path too.
You opened the doors, but it's not enough to pass the tests. You must keep walking, day after day. Arden Vasa, builder of the first javelin, the first emperor. Sanadine, whose swiftness inspired Corvus. Medeiros, Magnastral, and Leotrail the Unbroken. They all had one thing in common. They shared the ideals of Helena Tarsus.
And you want me to do that too?
Follow in their footsteps. Become a Legionnaire. So many eyes are watching you. If you can do this, revive the path of the Legionnaire, maybe the glory days of the Legion are only beginning. Medeiros was the son of arcanists. He had lived his entire life in a cavern, underground, hiding. At 10 years old, he had never seen the sky or an Ergoth or any beast but men. The world was utterly unknown to him, except for tales of horror and woe. But among the stories warning children to hide and obey their parents, Medeiros heard one other, a whispered tale of a rebellion against the Ergoth, and a legion rising to set all people free. So, at just 10 years old, Medeiros left the safety of the Arcanists to find the Legion of Dawn.
His parents couldn't have just let him go, could they?
They forbade him, of course, but he picked his moment and ran away. Raised to be a scholar, he knew how to read the secret signs of the Arcanists. He followed them through the wilds to the Legion of Dawn. Or he tried to, anyway. The Chimera had a different plan.
Right, I'm sure this story doesn't start with a child killed by a Chimera.
That would be a much shorter story than this one. He'd never seen a Chimera. He'd never even seen a Grabbit, but he was a very good student. He learned all the warning signs that he was being hunted and remembered stories about laying false trails. He led the Chimera on a long and winding path through the rocks, back and forth. He could never shake the creature, but it could never find him. Then the other hunters came. General Tarsus, in the first javelin ever made. Testing her new armor, she found the Chimera stalking the boy.
Lucky for Medeiros.
No luck about it. Tarsus followed his trail, just as the Chimera did. She was just learning the javelin. No one knew what it could do, not even the man who made it. Not trusting her suit's strength in a fight with the Chimera, she lured it into chasing her instead. While it ran after Tarsus, Leotrail found the boy and spirited him away to safety.
I don't know if I'm disappointed or relieved that no one actually fought the Chimera in this story.
Well, the path of valor is a tricky one. It's not always about victory in battle. You know that. They took him to their own camp, where the Legion hid at the time. When Tarsis asked where he lived and who his people were, Medeiros replied, "You're my people." The others tried to persuade him to return home, but after a long moment, Tarsis said, "He is home." From then on, Medeiros served as a page to the Legion of Dawn. Eventually, he became a legionnaire himself. But that's another story. You've walked the path of valor. By now, I suppose that's not really a surprise. It's time to tell you how the Freelancers began. Medeiros was raised by the Legion of Dawn. He witnessed Tarsis testing the first javelin. He was at the general's side when the fortress was built, earned his own javelin, and fought beside her, even at the Battle of Antium Pass. Of the company that stood with Tarsis and held back the Urgoth, only Medeiros survived.
I didn't know anyone survived the Battle of Antium Pass.
It's easy to forget, since most stories focus on the general's death. In grief, the Legion tore itself in two. Half went with Magnus Strahl, half with Arden Vasa, and one legionnaire who went with no one. Medeiros stayed at the Fortress of Dawn, even though the gates were sealed and the Lancers gone for good.
You said this story was about Freelancers. None of us were at the Fortress of Dawn.
Of course not. It was locked up tight. Alone in the courtyard, Medeiros heard a distant roar.
Okay, that's better.
It was a sound he remembered, for it haunted his dreams. The roar of the chimera Cindermore, the monster that stalked him long ago.
The same one? Was still alive?
It vanished for more than a decade, but with the general's death, it returned.
This time he faces it down and wins.
Not exactly. Alone, he stood no chance. But the city of Anshar lay helpless in its path. He had no choice. He found the Chimera's trail and followed it, not to the monster, but to its lair. For he knew that if he silenced the relic that created it, Cindermore would lose its power.
That's all great, if the ruin was empty.
That was the problem, yes. Medeiros found the relic, though the monster was right beside it. But he had plenty of experience in laying false trails. Medeiros woke the chimera, and it chased his false tracks while he slipped past and silenced the relic. Cindermore fell, and the Lancer finally defeated the beast that stalked him long ago. In that moment, Medeiros knew his calling. To walk the path of valor, even if he walked it alone. Of all the legionnaires, Magnus Strahl was the most renowned for her feats of strength. But it wasn't always so.
I've only ever heard about Strahl leaving the Legion. Nothing about what she did before.
Bastian likes to forget that she was ever a legionnaire. The Dominion, that she was flawed and human. But she was many things. Loyal and a deserter, ordinary and legendary. She came to the Legion of Dawn as a young girl. Her village was raided and everyone taken. Almost. She was so small she hid inside a basket. The Urgoth surely caught her scent, but they thought her too weak to bother taking.
I didn't think Urgoth ever left humans behind during their raids.
Stories say they sometimes left the weak, sickly, and elderly, alone, unarmed. She followed the secret Arcanist signs to Sanctuary, where the rebels hid and plotted. There, Strahl begged Tarsis to let her join the Legion, to grant her vengeance. But the general refused. She said Magna wasn't ready, and sent her away. Strahl couldn't accept that. so she went out alone to fight the Urgoth.
Without a javelin? That's insane.
She set traps, ambushes. She poisoned spears and knives. Any small advantage she could take against a vastly superior enemy, she gladly took. She nearly died dozens of times, but vengeance drove her onward. And the Urgoth fell. She carried trophies to the sanctuary, day after day, week after week.
She fought even though the odds were against her.
That's what the Legion of Dawn was all about. Finally, General Tarsis spoke with her. "What do you want?" she asked. "I want to join the Legion of Dawn," Magna replied. Tarsis looked at her and asked, "Why? You already have your revenge." The general looked to the many, many Urgoth trophies Strahl fought for. At first, Strahl had no answer. Then, after a long moment, she said, "It's where I belong." To which Tarsis answered, "Then you're finally ready to join us."
So what happened? How did Strahl end up leaving the Legion and founding the Dominion?
That's a story for another time.
They're idiots, and not a problem. The signal's inside.
I thought you said... Wait, aren't we looking for outlaws?
No, we're looking for a cipher link. Did we tell you?
No.
Oh, no wonder you were confused.
I thought we were trying to solve the mystery of people vanishing in the Emerald Abyss.
We are.
Then why am I in a creepy cave looking for a cipher link?
Because the signal directed us here, and...
No, I mean, how is this link connected to the Emerald Abyss? Damn it! Where the hell are they?
Oh, that's what's been troubling the outlaws. Ur-6. Pretty nasty.
Good to see you. closing in on the signal?
I think so. It's on the move. Do you think... Is it possible the Ursix ate Link?
I swear to God, if I have to dig through poop...
Okay, number one, feces is the professional term. And number two, I said it's moving. What kind of weird shit do you have? The belly of the beast.
Please, Dax.
Sorry, couldn't resist. Ursix on your6. Get it? Ursix, your6.
Hilarious.
Signal's pointing to her, by the way.
Oh, of course it is. Found the link.
And you didn't even have to dig through poop. I mean, feces.
Lucky me.
I can't help you if you're gonna be picky.
I'll analyze Link's intel and send it to Dax.
Beautiful. We can discuss back at Fort Tarsis.
Thanks.
Nice one.
There he is. Hero of Fort Tarsus. The Heart of Rage, no less. I knew you'd bring the thunder.
And some lightning along with it. You know, to make a statement.
You've been listening. Damn, that makes me proud.
You might have rubbed off.
To think, when we first met, the forge wouldn't even work. And now, you tamed the mother of all storms. The freelancers are back, and not even the Anthem's temper can stop them.
Thanks, though I'm sure some new trouble is bound to come along.
In this world, I guarantee it. Not a month goes by, I'm not shaking my head at some crazy thing a Shaper Relic has done. But I'll feel better knowing the freelancers are back in business.
We wouldn't be anywhere without the guy selling us a little thunder and lightning.
No, I just bottle it. You deliver it.
Well, don't ever stop. We'll need plenty of bottles, I'm sure.
What I wanted to hear.
I'd best get back to it.
Don't be a stranger.
So, now that you've walked in her footsteps, let me tell you the final tale of Magna Stra. When General Tarsus fell, those closest to her went into mourning. Each carried grief in their own way. For Magna, the loss of her friend and leader turned to rage. She couldn't rest while a single Urgoth lived. They were already broken by the sword of Fulminus, terrified, fleeing to the dark corners of the world. But hard on their heels, Strahl came, hunting them one by one.
This sounds like the other story you told me.
Listen to enough tales of Magna Strahl and a pattern emerges. When at last her scouts found no more enemies, she returned to the Fortress of Dawn. There she found the doors sealed. The Legionnaires were preparing to leave it forever.
Even after I went inside, I've never heard why the fortress was sealed up.
I'm getting to that part. While Strahl eased her grief with battle, Arden Vasa fixated on his duty. With her final breath, Tarsus had made him swear Antium would not fall, no matter the cost. At her command, Vasa prepared to take the entire Legion of Dawn to safeguard Antium for all time. Outraged at what she saw as desertion, Strahl ordered the Lancers to halt. And they obeyed. Her general secured a future for all people, not just Antium. She called for the Legion to follow her, to battle the enemy in the darkness where they'd fled.
So, which one had the right idea?
Well, if you ask a Sentinel, Arden Vasa. Ask a Paladin, it's Strahl. A freelancer usually says neither. Strahl was admired, some might say revered, by many, and they gladly joined her cause. Vasa called them traitors. Strahl declared those who stayed behind were cowards, and the Legion broke. Those who followed Magna Strahl called themselves Paladins, and went north to pursue the enemies of man. They vanished into the darkness, and were never heard from again.
How did the Paladins become the Dominion?
I wish I knew that story. I doubt even the Dominion knows it, really. They lost the path. They no longer use their strength to protect anyone, let alone everyone. I doubt anyone in the Dominion even remembers that was their purpose. That's why it's vital that we remember. Strahl's story and the Path of Might cannot be allowed to die.
I'll remember.
Good. Before the Battle of Antium Pass, the Legion's test of resolve had a different basis. It began with Leotrel, the general's oldest friend. When Tarsis first raised an army against the Urgoth, Leotrel was with her. The Arcanists were hidden from them. They hadn't yet found Arden Vasa. No lancers, no javelins, no weapons, no fortress. Not even a good hiding place. Nothing but the vision of Helena Tarsis and Leotrel's unbreakable will.
I've never heard about the beginning of the Legion before.
In a way, it has no beginning. Where and when did Tarsis and Leotrel meet? No one remembers. Maybe it was once such common knowledge that no one thought to pass it on. There are countless towns that now claim to be the birthplace of General Tarsis. The truth is lost. A legion needs soldiers, and it began with just one. The two set out to find the Urgoth. The plan was simple. Follow the raiders and warn villages in their path. At first, they succeeded in getting word of the coming Urgoth to people in time. Villagers fled, but the longer the Urgoth went without a catch, the faster it spurred their hunt. Finally, Tarsis and Leotrel arrived at a town with the Urgoth on their heels. Flight was impossible, so they stood and fought.
Fighting Urgoth without a javelin? By themselves? That took guts.
Tarsis hoped to slow the Urgoth enough that some villagers could escape. The two of them, alone, armed with simple weapons, were little more than an annoyance to the enemy. But they fought. Despite greater numbers, strength, and weapons, the Urgoth could not subdue them. Finally, with Tarsis wounded and Leotrel at the point of exhaustion, the two prepared for the end. But the villagers rallied. With tools and improvised weapons, they joined the battle and routed the enemy. Many innocents were taken that night, but not all of them. Because people fought the inevitable. And the rest is a tale for another time. You've walked the path of resolve. It's a hard one to travel.
You're not going to tell me about the last stand of General Tarsis now, are you? Because I've heard that story many times before.
No. This is the story of how the Legion endured its own destruction. While Vasa and Strahl fought about which way to take their lancers, Leotrel prepared. She prepared her oldest friend for burial. She prepared places for all the fallen, and she prepared the way for those still to come. She took Garrett's volumes of the Legion from the Fortress of Dawn before it was sealed. She left Helena's signet in the General's tomb, waiting for the right hand to reclaim it.
Were you saying she knew I would need to look for the Javelin of Dawn?
No, of course not. But she knew better than anyone not to surrender to the inevitable. She would not abandon her friend or her path, even though the battle was over. The world would always need Tarsis, and Tarsis would always need legionnaires. She followed Arden Vasa to Antium for a time, and left the records with trusted lancers, to be maintained and passed down, generation after generation.
To you? This is your story?
Our story. The Legion lives on through us.
What happened to Leotrel?
Once her preparations were complete, her plans in motion, she left Antium and vanished. Like the beginning. The end of her story is a mystery. But it's not beginnings or endings that matter. It's the path you follow between them. So, you've walked all the paths. What do you think?
What was all this for? Why have I been trying to recreate the deeds of Legionnaires?
The Legion of Dawn wasn't one person or one deed. It wasn't even the trials of General Tarsus. It was 1,000 people. 1,000 deeds, great and small, that brought us to this moment. Stories have beginnings and endings, a clear path, an arc. But we know that reality isn't like stories. We only have the path ahead. Nothing is clear, and nothing truly ends. Listen, Legionnaire. This is your tale now. It has been for some time. Learn from the mistakes of our forebears. Persist, even in the face of the inevitable. Walk the path, even if you have to do it alone. Welcome to the Legion of Dawn. There are other stories, other Legionnaires you could learn from, but that's for another time.